Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be working to replace these rear fog lights which are in the back of the Toyota Alphard, and they fit in here. I've taken out the old ones, I've just basically prized them out, and they were so brittle they came out in little bits. Why am I replacing them? Because LEDs with time start to die. These were 6 years old, 6 years since I've got this vehicle, and the brightness on the fog light was really poor. So I basically prized it out and then cleaned up some of the silicon that was holding it out. And here we can see the 3 wires that were on this particular setup. Now, only 2 wires are required, so the positive and negative. But we don't know which way those are, and we're not going to take it for granted. So we're going to test those 3 wires using a voltmeter, and that will give us where the positive wire and the negative wire. You need to know that because when you come to installing the new LEDs, they need to be set up in the correct direction, the correct phase, because LEDs only transmit electricity in one direction, so therefore they only light up in one direction. So this is the new LED which I got from eBay. It doesn't fit perfectly. I had to adjust a little bit, but we will come out to it later. So 4 wires on this one. And what I need to do is find out which wire is the negative and which one is the positive to light up the red fog lights. The reason why it's got 4 wires is because it can also be used for indicators as well. So let's go to the front of the car and do that. I'm at the front of the car now, and I've got the red wire and the black wire in my hands, and I'm going to connect up to the battery to make sure that the LED lamp works. So the red goes to the positive, as you can see, and the black goes to the negative. And as you can see here, it will light up that lamp. If we were to reverse the wires and put the black on the positive and the other way around, you can see nothing happens. Okay, that just goes to show you that the LED light is directional. It needs to get the electrons flowing in the right direction. So we can see it works. We've tested them. Now we're going to look at these other wires which are there, and they allow us to use this lamp also as an indicator as well. So, but we're just using the fog light. So I'm going to get these 2 and just basically cut them. Okay, once we cut them, we'll tape them up so they're not going to interfere because we don't want to blow any fuses. Brilliant. So I'm going to use these wire clippers here just to cut the wires that I'm not going to be using, or the lengths that I don't require. As I said, there's 4 wires on this one altogether, and the green and the white one are redundant. So it's going to split those away from the ones that we do need, which are the black and the red, the negative and positive terminals respectively. So here we go, separate those, and back to the wire clippers, cut off the green, cut off the white at slightly different heights, so not equally cut, and that's just to avoid a freak accident where they touch each other. But just to cover myself again, I'm going to put some of the shrink wrap tubing onto it, just to cover up the ends of the white and the green wires. You'll see what I mean about cutting them at different heights in a few seconds once you get this done. Okay. After that, I'm going to strip off the ends of those black and red wires. There's the different heights. Okay. We'll see that's just when they're next to each other. Okay, here we go. We're going to strip off this. And this will form the basis for my connection to the existing loom on the vehicle. I'm going to be using flux in order to I'll dip it into the flux. You'll see it very shortly. And I'll do it with both of the wires, and I'll use my gas soldering iron just to put a little bit of solder onto it in a process called tinning. So just it helps the bond against the existing loom. That's the flux that I use, and it'll just go on the end of these things. Okay, so the next stage is to connect it up onto the existing loom. So we'll do that in a few seconds. And there you go, that's the lights connected up. And if you look at it, you can see the wires are in danger of touching each other, electrical connections, and basically shorting out the circuit. But below these wires is heat shrink, and that heat shrink is going to provide the insulation to separate those wires and make sure they're safe. You can buy that from a B&Q store, or you can get it from your local Euro car parts, etc., or Halfords. So that's it working. Just want to make sure it's working before actually put the heat shrink on, because that would be a real pain otherwise. So we're going to put that heat shrink, slide that heat shrink up over the connections, and just use the gas heater or to just heat it up, like a little blowtorch. We'll just heat it up and shrink around that metal work, and just protect it a little bit better, and stop it from potentially creating a short circuit. Now, the thing to remember, these fog lights will never fit into the bumper perfectly, so we will need to adjust them. So as mentioned, this new fog light will not fit perfectly into the inset without modification. We're going to modify this because it's only costs about £8 or so, rather than modify the bumper, because that's a permanent modification, and you just do not want to be doing that. So I've got myself a multi-tool with a blade on it, and I've started, there's the fin here, which stops the light from sitting nicely. You cut that off, and there's another little bit there, we cut that off, but we decided to cut it off this here, and you can see the burn marks. So we've just sliced it off with a multi-tool blade, exposed a little bit of the inside there, so we'll put a bit of silicone on those two blobs, and we'll be able to fit this light in there and just tape it down with that masking tape you can see hanging down there, and that will hold it in place until it sets. Let's have a look at the final result. As you can see, that's it with the lights off, and the fog lights are there in the white, and I'm just going to try and show you what they look like. Okay, so I'm jumped in my car, and there you go, fog lights on at the bottom, nice and bright, and as I said, both sides have been done, because you know what, you just always want to make sure that these things are very, very visible. I hope that's been helpful to somebody. Thanks for watching.